Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Court issues new order for SEC in its appeal against Ripple. Let me just tell you at the outset, and we'll get to the specifics as we get into this thing, but the court actually issued a warning to the SEC. And if they don't follow specific orders, this whole appeal process goes bye-bye. I'll just tell you that at the outset of the video. Also, do you remember this headline from a little over a week ago? Citibank debanked Ripple's Bragg Garlinghouse due to crypto, exec says. Well, we've got some new new information, because what we're talking about here, it's effectively part of Operation Choke Point 2.0, which is effectively just destroying the on-ramps and off-ramps to crypto, and anybody that's a notable figure in crypto, they become a target as well. Well, it turns out we've got some new information coming out thanks to FOIA requests, and that was revealed by the chief legal officer over at Coinbase. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Now, I will get to the specifics of what happened in the SEC Ripple appeal process in just a moment, but there's this headline on your screen resulting, and they're blaming specific XRP market activity on what I'm about to share with you, and I would like to debunk this very quickly first. So here's the headline from you today. XRP rockets 40% in volume amid fresh Ripple lawsuit update. Okay, so to be clear, I'm not disputing data. Data is data. I'm going to show you the numbers. What I'm disputing is the narrative. What they're doing here with this headline is trying to convince you with this specific warning that the reason XRP volume rocketed is specifically because of this, and that absolutely is not the case. That is not what moved it. So anyway, piece reads as follows. Check this out. XRP, the 7th largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, has seen an increase in trading volumes over the last 24 hours, skyrocketing by over 40%. According to CoinMarketCap data, XRP is registering 1.26 billion in trading volume, or 2.43 billion XRP, representing a current 42.29% increase in the last 24 hours. The surge coincides with a fresh update in the Ripple SEC lawsuit, currently in the appeal stage. In the past week, the SEC requested January 15th, 2025, as the deadline to file its principal brief in the ongoing appeals process. Okay, so frequently what happens, it's always going to be like this, but it's always going to grind my gears. When there's price action regularly in the world of crypto, stuff is always going to be happening also. From a fundamental perspective, news stories breaking in crypto, both things are always going to be happening. So then, if there's a notable change in volume or price action for a cryptocurrency, whatever news is happening in the moment, however loosely related, is attributed to the reason for the change in the market. It just doesn't it doesn't pass the smell test, though. So fine, the correlation exists, but what we're arguing is causation, right? They effectively are. With that headline, the intent is to have you believe that's the case. And so here's a 7-day chart, 7 days of price and volume history for XRP. And so the green line here, of course, that would be price. Then if you look at the shadowy looking mountain behind it, that would be the volume, right? And so if you see when this actually broke, so this was, I guess it was, what evening was this? Would have been technically Thursday evening, right? Yeah, 31st. So you can see it's true on the day that this actually went down. Sure, you did see, and you saw it for the span of, over 24 hours, you did see this big jump up, and then it went back down. Oh, okay, so then case closed. You today is correct. No, not so fast. The rest of the market did this too. It's just, and so to be clear though, and I'll show you in a second, but the degree of which will vary from coin to coin, but the correlation is there. From coin to coin to coin to coin. So I'll just show you a Bitcoin now. Let me just flip to this. It's the same chart, but for Bitcoin for 7 days. And you can see, although it isn't as pronounced, the movements happened at the exact same time. Big move to the upside, then move to the downside. I mean, look at me just flip back and forth between the XRP and Bitcoin price charts. The action is happening at the same time. Unless you want to make the dumbass argument that this little case, which has nothing to do with XRP specifically, was causing the entire market, including Bitcoin, to move in terms of volume. No, it's completely absurd. So it just kind of bothers me when I see this stuff, so I thought I'd just debunk it real quick. Now, as for what actually happened here, including the threat that's issued towards the SEC, Well, let's get into it. Again, the headline here, court issues new order for SEC in its appeal against Ripple. The Second Circuit Court of Appeals issues a new directive to the U.S. SEC regarding its appeal against Ripple. Prominent defense lawyer James K. Filan called the public's attention to the order, emphasizing that the Second Circuit has mandated the SEC to file its appellate brief by January 15, 2025. This development comes a week after the SEC requested that the court set a deadline of January 15, 2025 for filing its appeal brief. Notably, the Second Circuit granted the request in an order dated October 31st, 2024. Okay, so the SEC requested that date, January 15th. They got the approval. Now, obviously, that's months out, and that's always going to be irritating to anybody that's been following the SEC v. Ripple case for years on end, because they're just such disingenuous pricks over at the SEC. They're just disgusting people, and it's not technically a delay. But my God, any opportunity they've had to speed this thing up, they've declined. They always push everything out to the very tail end, filing stuff. That's just how they roll. So this, to be clear, not technically a delay, but they're happy to do whatever they can to be an irritant just in the existence of Ripple's life. Like that's pretty much what they're doing here. And anything they can do to drag this out, and I think they're hoping also because they despise all of us as well, I believe. I think they would do anything if they think they'd even have a tiny chance of even just a little way harming the XRP ecosystem they want to go for. Now, they're failing on that front. I think that's very clear. It's plenty of evidence. The market has figured out the SEC has lost on everything that actually matters to speculators like you and I, but not going to stop them from trying, these little asshat pricks. Anyway, peace continues. However, the court warned the securities regulator that its appeal would be dismissed if it failed to file the appellate brief on or before the January 15th, 2025 deadline. So, since I'm not an attorney, I don't know if this is normal, but here it is. It's on your screen here, and even Attorney Bill Morgan, I noticed, he commented on this. He's like, at least the consequences for not meeting this deadline are clear. And so it reads right as follows. It's at the bottom here. It is hereby ordered that appellant cross-appellee's brief must be filed on or before January 15th, 2025. And here's the key part. The appeal is dismissed effective January 15th, 2025 if the brief is not filed by that date. Okay. Pretty blunt there. Happy to see that. Now, since I'm not a lawyer, I don't know if something like that would necessarily be in a document in a situation that's in any way similar to this, or if it has something to do with the question around whether or not the SEC actually filed the Form C for the appeal process on time. And I'm sure many of you will recall that over the last couple of weeks. And I don't know 100% still. I don't think anybody technically knows 100%. Either way, the court obviously has allowed this to move forward, or we wouldn't even be seeing documents like this. But I can't help but wonder. Because if this isn't normal, then I think that would be an indication. They're like, hey, SEC, you slipped up. And don't do that again, or for real, we're going to dismiss this thing if you mess up again. So I'm not claiming that's the case. This is just me thinking out loud, since I'm not an attorney. But either way, got to file on time, or this whole thing goes away. Then there was this. Citibank debanked Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse due to crypto exec says. And so let me get you quickly caught up to speed, because this is a story I covered a little over a week ago, but I have some new stuff on this whole topic of government basically just trying to crush crypto. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse has personally been severed from a longtime banking relationship because he's a prominent figure in crypto, he told an audience in Washington on Wednesday. Individuals within the crypto industry are being debanked, he said at DC FinTech Week. I personally have been debanked. Garlinghouse tied his own experience to the wider trend in the U.S. industry that's struggled to maintain banking ties as regulators have cautioned institutions to limit their crypto involvement. He later added in an interview with CoinDesk that the institution that cut him off recently was Citigroup, Inc., with which he'd been a customer for about 25 years, he said. That's insane, folks. You're with a bank for 25 years, and then they're just like, bah, Felicia, because the government is threatening action. That is despicable, so far as I'm concerned. Anyway, peace continues. And he added that it's not the only personal banking relationship he's lost because of his role in crypto. They said, you have 5 days to move your money. And this is Brad Garlinghouse speaking. They were actually super honest. They're like, look, you are a notable person in crypto, and having notable people in crypto and banking the crypto industry means more scrutiny from federal regulators, end quote. That's directly from Brad Garlinghouse. Now, we know there's no shortage of evidence that Operation Choke Point 2.0 is a real thing. And I find it highly improbable that Garlinghouse would just randomly make up a story like this. There's no pattern of that type of behavior from Garlinghouse that I've seen in following, anything news that he's been in for, almost 7 years at this point. So that would be surprising to me. I'm going to take him at his word on this one. But we do know, I don't think anybody that's being intellectually honest thinks that there's any doubt as to the existence of Operation Choke Point 2.0. And this kind of closes any possibility for that, slams that door shut. So here's a post literally yesterday from Paul Graywall. He's the chief legal officer over at Coinbase. He wrote the following. Slowly but surely, the picture is becoming clear. After we sued the FDIC, finally started giving us information related to our FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act request, about the pause letters it sent to financial institutions as part of Operation Choke Point 2.0. In short, the contents are a shameful example of a government agency trying to cut off financial access to law-abiding American companies. So pause. It is literally what it sounds like. The pause letters, it's exactly what it sounds like. Stop offering services. We don't say you have to just pause it though, right? Just pause the service. Well, either way, they're not functionally existing then, right? Anyway, then he says, so far we've uncovered more than 20 examples of the FDIC telling banks to pause or refrain from providing or not proceed with offering crypto banking services. Folks, let's pause again. This is a real thing. This is actual evidence thanks to FOIA requests coming out. This isn't crap that people like Brad Garlinghouse are just making up. This is real here. Anyway, he continues, the public deserves transparency, not an agency that's working behind a bureaucratic curtain. We don't have the full letters yet, but what we've seen so far speaks volumes. Take a look for yourself. In the meantime, we'll keep pushing to get clarity from our regulators through FOIA requests and any other means necessary. It's alarming because, if they get what they want, if they actually did, and I don't think they're going to, I'm very optimistic that history will play out and then we'll be proven to be on the right side of history and all that jazz. But if they got their way, this would eliminate our opportunity as regular folks to achieve life-changing wealth, because that opportunity is absolutely there. Which isn't to say there isn't tremendous risk. Of course there is, especially with a volatile nascent asset class like crypto. But we're adults, right? I know how to put my own shirt on in the morning. So maybe just leave me the hell alone and let me do my stuff and take the risks that I think are appropriate for me. That would be nice. I don't need daddy government telling me what to do. So I think it's very clear, we already have one party where it's effectively the party platform to be pro-crypto. On the other side, although they're very anti-crypto on the whole, I do notice that there are certain participants, even on one side of the political aisle, who, especially the younger ones, are more likely to be pro-crypto. It's just that they're a small percentage of the current makeup of that particular party. So I think that changes over time. It shouldn't be a partisan issue. And like I've said many times, there's no anti-crypto voter block, but there is a pro-crypto voter block. Because even if you don't know anything about crypto or you just don't like it, even if you did do some surface level research, it's not going to impact. You're not going to place a vote based on it. You're just not going to. Because it's you don't have skin in the game even. But if you do, then you're like, oh, hell no. Don't ruin my opportunity here. So anyway, all that to say, I'm optimistic, but this is completely absurd and completely unacceptable. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because if anything I say are right, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.